Taurus, it's Gregory Scott here to do your astrology forecast for July 2015. I'm going to give you a really in-depth view of what the planets are doing, what the aspects are, what relationships they form, and how that's going to impact you in July. I'm not going to use the tarot, I'm just going to do a really in-depth, really clear analysis of your astrology. So you start this month with a bang really, because there's a T-square in your chart. A T-square is an aspect formation that represents a challenge and overcoming that challenge. The challenge for you is going to be communicating in a way that's a little bit too forceful almost, and only looking at your own ideas and opinions versus other people's ideas, other experiences, and how to integrate that. So it's about being open-minded for you, okay? And I really think that the answer to the problem on the 1st of July for you, Taurus, is to listen to other people, because I don't think you have all the answers on this day. And I think someone else may have a little bit more experience, so it's important for you to listen. What also happens between the 1st of July and the 30th of July is that your Ascendant, the way you see yourself, the way you naturally are, enters a square relationship, so a square aspect, which means the two are 90 degrees apart, with your midheaven, which is what you feel like you should be doing for work. And when they connect like this, there's some kind of friction, there's some sort of tension between how you see yourself and how you work and what it is you actually do for work. So I think there may be some sort of dichotomy in terms of, you know, I don't feel like my work is particularly fun. I think the things that I'm communicating are earning me money, and things are flowing, but I don't necessarily feel like this is something I care about or that's particularly useful to me. So I think you feel a little bit of a disconnect, Taurus, in terms of what it is you do for work. So again, the answer is, how can I create something meaningful for other people? That's what's going to make you feel more purposeful in terms of your working life, and that's going to make you feel like you're doing something that's actually worthwhile. Because I think you genuinely think about that. You're a sign that's very practical and that likes to accumulate wealth, but you're also very sensual and you have a great sense of humor. So I think that's lacking in your working life at the moment, and I think around the 1st of the month you can get some ideas that really bring more fun and joy and meaning to your working life. Mercury has been in a sextile relationship, so 60 degrees apart, with Uranus from the 13th of June until the 4th of July. Let me find these two. So we've got Uranus and Mercury. There we go. And Mercury is in your second house of finances and belongings. So you've been working really hard and you will continue to work hard. But with Uranus sextiling that, it means that some of these inspirations and some of these more meaningful ideas that you're looking for will come through your spiritual practice. Sit down and meditate, do some yoga, go belly dancing, go walk in nature, because that's where you're going to get the ideas that will make you feel better about your work. The full moon occurs on the 2nd of July, and that full moon occurs in Capricorn in your 9th house. This is about working at seeing other ways of living. It's about understanding that your horizon is the way it is because of what your experiences have been. And I think you have a real breakthrough in terms of understanding something differently, becoming less blinkered and opening up your worldview, becoming more open-minded, having a fresh new perspective on things. There's a real blossoming in terms of you becoming more tolerant, more understanding of other people, and understanding the world that you occupy. Saturn starts to square, so again that 90-degree relationship, Venus from the 3rd of July onwards through until the 15th of August, so it's a long time, it's a month and a half, okay? And Saturn is the planet of restriction and real structure. Venus is the goddess of love. Goddess of love is a little bit flighty. If you think about Aphrodite, she traipsed around in flowing white dresses, and she had different lovers, and she had fun, and she didn't like to concentrate very much. So there's obviously a little bit of friction going on there already, okay? The fact that you know, this is becoming much more stable, much more structured. And what that means is that you're looking to get an insight into your long-term family relationships, and you're really trying to get people to take you more seriously. You're trying to assert yourself. You're trying to get people in your family to see you a little bit differently, and you're trying to change your image. So, you know, this is kind of difficult because if you're an adult child, a grown child, and your parents have always had a view of yourself, of you. So for instance, you dropped out of university and your parents are really into academia. They could have said, oh, well, there's our daughter who didn't graduate. And that kind of becomes your identity. We all take on these identities that are placed on us in families and that don't necessarily have anything to do with us. But narratives have a life of their own, and they sometimes they take on a life of their own in families. And I get the feeling that you become uncomfortable with your own identity that's been prescribed to you, and you try and change that. Now, the guidance is the more you embrace that, the more change you can actually make. These kind of patterns are hard to break, but I think with this Saturn-Venus-Jupiter conjunction and square, you can actually make that happen. So if you've always been the dropout, you can rebrand yourself in terms of your family and really get people to see a real version of you that you're happy with. That's interesting. Okay. The Sun trines Neptune from the 24th of June through until the 9th of July. And the Sun and Neptune are really wonderful when they connect because it increases your intuitive abilities, it makes you more receptive to ideas coming through, and it also makes you more considerate of other people. So between this time until the 9th of July, you are really communicating in a harmonious way. You're also communicating your hopes and dreams, and you're wearing your heart on your sleeve a little bit. And I think it really brings people to you because you're making yourself vulnerable, and people understand that, and people respond very well to it. So I would urge you to be vulnerable in July. People will appreciate your own honesty, your openness, and will come closer to you. And that's really, I think, partly how you adapt and alter people's perception of you, by letting them see the real you and bringing the walls down and getting really honest and open with people. Mercury moves into Cancer on the 9th, and that enters your 3rd house of communication. You've got a lot going on there now with Mercury going into that. You've got your midheaven, you've got your Mars, you've got your Sun, all in Cancer in your 3rd house. So really for you, Taurus, this month, and around this time of the month, particularly the 9th of July, it's really important for you to speak your truth. You're a real stickler for that. You're really going to talk about your inner, most deepest, darkest things. And sometimes this is interesting, but sometimes I play around on YouTube and I watch different things that people put on, and some of the people really put on some very, very personal things. Like the other day I saw this video by a guy who says that sexually he likes to be smacked around a little bit. Now, I would never dream of sharing something like that, but there will be people out there who feel like, who respect that someone would be that open. I don't know how wise it is or how unwise it is, I don't really know. I mean, in terms of this person, if they're trying to get a job, or if they're going for a job interview, and the employer watches their video and they know that about them, I think that's a little bit TMI. But other people on a more intimate level will really appreciate that because they'll know something about the person. They'll feel like they've got to know that person better, okay? And I really think that you have a desire to overshare as well, and to really let it all hang out and let it all hang loose and have people really see you and look at you. So just use a little bit of common sense with that. And don't take my word for it completely, because I'm someone who doesn't particularly like oversharing, but other people are very comfortable sharing every aspect of their life. And what I've seen happen, regardless of my opinion, is that the more you share, the more people are drawn to you because they appreciate openness, often regardless of what it is. So just see what you're comfortable in, play that by ear, and use it to your advantage, okay? There's another T-square that occurs on the 11th of July, and that is between Saturn and the Moon. Saturn and the Moon, and then it culminates, the solution point is in your 4th house. And really what that indicates is you're very comfortable within yourself. That is a little bit in opposition to what other people expect from you. So again, there's that fight again between what I'm really like and how other people see me. And the way to solve this and the way to resolve this is to continue to apply yourself, to continue to let other people see the real you, I suppose. Okay, so we've got that answer to what I was talking about a moment ago, because that's what's going to change opinions of you. So be as open as you want, as open as you are comfortable with, because that's what's going to change people's view of who you are. Okay, Mars has been in conjunction with the Sun for a long time. It was in conjunction with the Sun the whole of June and in July here until the 12th of July now. And this conjunction now ends. Mars is the warrior planet. It's a soldier. Think of it as a really butch soldier, okay? And the Sun is your ego. So when the soldier connects with your ego, it makes you very forceful in terms of what it is you want. That calms down a little bit now, and what it is you want isn't so paramount. You have been considerate of other people's feelings and emotions, but I think you've been very driven to find out what other people think about you and what other people the way other people perceive you. It's kind of a subtle thing, but I think you let that go a little bit now, and you become more okay with other people. You become more okay with your own identity, and things calm down a little bit on the 12th. So when Mars goes away from the Sun, things become less frantic, less powerful, less driven. Okay. The other thing that's been in opposition for a long time is Pluto has been in opposition to the Sun from the 27th of June, and it's in opposition until the 14th of July. So Pluto is rebirth and regeneration. The Sun is the ego. I've already mentioned that. And because that opposition now ends, it's not so much about recreating yourself. I think you start to calm down and things settle into place a little bit, and you become less uncomfortable with your own identity that other people have about you. So for instance, I am a rocket scientist, but everyone thinks of me as that guy from the circus who fell on his face 3 years ago, okay? I may not be very comfortable with that identity or people thinking of me like that at the beginning of July, because I want them to recognize how serious and talented I am. By the end of July, I'm not going to care so much. I'm just going to do my own thing. Do you see what I mean? It's not so important to change other people's view of me. So Taurus, just allow yourself to relax a little bit around that. Venus conjuncts Jupiter from the 17th of June through until the 13th of August, so for almost 2 months, and July is really smack in the middle of that. And Venus is the goddess of love, Jupiter is the planet of good luck and good fortune, and the two of them sit between the 4th and 5th house. So I really feel that this work you've been doing with your family and with people in your life to try and change their opinions of them, that will really work well for you when you meet new people, and I think it could bring romance into your life. I think this new identity is going to be picked up by people who you don't know, and they'll be attracted to that. So the work that you do may not be so useful with your family, but it really certainly will be in creating a new identity that will really attract new people in your life. And I think the 21st particularly is great for you romance-wise. And I think this whole time between the 17th of June to the 13th of August is one where your new identity really brings a lot of luck and a lot of fortune and a lot of new love into your life. Okay. The new moon occurs on the 16th of July. And a new moon is a period of planting new seeds, setting new intentions. And this new moon is in, let me just go to the 16th, it's in Cancer in the 3rd, okay? And again, that's really about your truth. Who are you in truth? And you don't approach that now from, I'm going to change other people's opinions. You really get real with yourself. It's like, who am I? You know, that it's a form of meditation. Ramana Maharshi, he developed a meditation technique called Who Am I? And you ask yourself that question. And it's very interesting in what you find out. So maybe look into that meditation around this new moon, but you really get to the core of who you are, Taurus, to the core of your inner self, what you're like as a human being and how you want other people to see you. It's a really kind of a beautiful month for you because it's all about getting real with yourself. Uranus is in a square relationship with Mars from the 16th of July until the 2nd of August, and squares create tension. They're 90 degrees apart. And Uranus is the rebel. And I've already mentioned that Mars is the soldier. The questioning you do around yourself now opens you up to really take ownership of some of your unusual ideas that may not be so conventional or have conformed to other ways of being, but are true to yourself. They come through your emotions, they come through asking those questions, who am I? You take ownership of the things that really are unique to you. So, if you're really passionate about, I don't know, hot air balloons, and that's just, I mean, that's unusual. It's something that's really unique to you. You discover that, and that becomes part of your new identity that you've developed over this month. So it's not just that asking the questions and seeing yourself for who you really are is this beautiful thing, but it really has a positive outcome because it offers new interests, new talents, new ways of enjoying the process of life. Venus goes into Virgo on the 19th of July. And Venus isn't particularly happy in Virgo because Venus is about love and not looking at the details, and Virgo is about discernment and really looking at the details. That's in your 5th house, and really what that actually means to me is that you've been able to let go of some of the things that you're not so happy with, and you're able to let go of self-criticism and things that make you feel unlovable. So again, all of this work that you've done is really good because your detail-oriented focus now says, hey, it's okay, I didn't like that about you, I've sorted it out, and now I'm free to have romance in my life. So you feel a real lift there. Mercury goes into Leo on the 24th of July. And this is when your communication again goes to the next level in terms of, I have something to say and I'm not apologizing for it. Put me in the spotlight, let other people look at me, let them listen to me. This is my message, and like it or hate it, I'm going to speak my truth. That is especially strong for you, Taurus, around the 24th of July. So go speak somewhere, announce something. It's important. If you're gay and you've been wanting to come out, 24th of July is a great time to come out because you could care. You do care about what other people think, but you're taking ownership of what's true. And even if people reject you or they don't like you or they love you, it doesn't really matter because it's your truth. And on this day, you will speak your truth and you'll let the chips fall where they may. It's not your business what other people think of you, and you really embody that energy. There's a grand trine in water on the 25th of July in your chart, and a grand trine is a big blue triangle that indicates a real area of talent. It's between your Chiron in your 11th, your moon in your 7th, and your midheaven and Mars in your 3rd house. All of this truth that you've been speaking, all of this self-analysis, all of this understanding of who you are is going to make your dreams come true in terms of your relationships with other people, and it's also going to give you a new direction to go in work-wise. What you discover before the 25th of July is going to give you a new idea of what you can do for work in a really meaningful way. So if the gay thing again, if that has been an issue for you and you discover something now, when you speak your mind, the way people react to something, it may give you an insight into what you could do for work. It could be that you say, hey, that was really hard for me. Maybe I can help other people heal. Maybe I can help other people deal with this kind of process. Or maybe I've realized that during that whole thing, I realized what people were going to say before they actually said it, and I'm rather intuitive, and I'm going to work with my intuition. It's that kind of thing. You get an understanding of what you can do by taking action. Virgo goes into retrograde on this day as well, on the 25th of July, and it stays in retrograde until the 8th of September. Venus is the planet of love, and she does go into retrograde, and it's a time to reassess what it is you love. You've reassessed yourself. Now, on the 25th, when Virgo goes into... Why do I keep saying Virgo? Because Venus is in Virgo. Virgo doesn't go into retrograde, Venus goes into retrograde. And when she does that, you reassess what it is you love. So if you've been with guys who always cheat on you, and that's been a pattern, you've really understood a lot about yourself this month. You've changed as a human being. Therefore, the kind of people you're going to be with are going to change too. Like attracts like. So that vibration is going to change, and I think you're going to alter what you're looking for in terms of your romantic life. So that's a 25th of July through till the 8th of September is a wonderful time to evaluate that, what it is you're attracted to and why. And then finally we end the month with a full moon in Aquarius. This is the second full moon of the month, and that happens very rarely, and that's why it's known as a blue moon, as in once in a blue moon. The next blue moon is going to be on the 31st of January 2018, and so it's 3 years away. But when you have two full moons in a month, it means that that month is heightened, because a full moon is like a flower opening up, and it's like a culmination. You culminate twice this month, okay? You become more yourself. And this second full moon is in Aquarius in your 10th house. The understanding and insights that you've got about yourself this month now give you understanding and insight into what it is you're supposed to be doing work-wise. It just comes up out of you, like Venus coming out of the water. It just emerges from this soul seeking that you've been doing. So congratulations, that's great. If you would like to find out, if you want to have some more guidance on the way to getting there, then please get in touch with me for a private reading. You can do that via my website, gregoryscott.com. Email me, the address is readings@gregoryscott.co.uk. And remember to subscribe to the channel. Have a fabulous July, and I'll speak to you soon.